Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me today. Before we get started, the housekeeping notes, all the product I'm using, all the dimensions will be listed below. There's a link to my online store if you wish to purchase any of these products. There is a link to my Facebook group. We'd love to have you join that. There's my email address. If you wish to ask me any questions, you can. And finally, remember to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube to help me in YouTube world. So I have out here Very Cute. Now this is a punch bundle, but it's also part of a very large suite that's in the new mini catalog. I did not buy the whole suite. I bought this. I did buy the paper, but I'm not going to show you the paper today because we're not using it. So we're going to be using a couple of the bears out of this, and we're also going to be pulling in another stamp set that is in the new catalog, and it is part of a beautiful suite. And this is one of the stamp sets out of it's called Night Divine, and it's this, and I wanted the verse in here that I'm going to use, and the stars are brightly shining is the verse I wanted to use. These didn't fit what we're making today, and so this one did, and so that's why I'm pulling that in. So I said I'm just starting to use some of this new product, and I've used several this week, and there'll be a lot more projects coming over the next few weeks, but this is what we're going to be using to make the project. So let me set all this off to the side and let me show you what we're making. We are making this large box. And my bears, there's two bears. You could put more bears, you could put lots of decoration on it. And there's my saying. And you can see why I wanted the staying. The stars are brightly shining is because my bears are sitting up at the North Pole and they're watching the lights, and a little bit of Aurora Borealis in this one. Not much, but a little bit. And so I thought it was rather cute. So let's me show you how I made the box and do the stamping, and these are all embossed with silver. So let's make the box, get the box going first. We're using the Stargazing paper. No, we're not using this side. We are using this side. Now, I'm going to look at this paper carefully. There really isn't a right or wrong way to this paper, but when I look at it, I see the blues up here, and there's blues here. But I sort of looked at it, the blues sort of swish across this direction. If you go this way, they're going up and down. So I'm going to say that them going across this way, the lighter blues is that direction. That's what I'm calling, so we're going from there. This is a 12 by 12 piece of paper. Now you could do the same thing with cardstock, but I wanted to use the DSP. And this is what's called a milk carton box. I think I've made one once before out of cardstock. But anyhow, at the top, whatever you decide to be your top and bottom, you don't have to use this paper. You can use any kind of paper you wanted. So what we consider the top, which I'm considering this to be my top, we are going to score at 2 7/8, 5 3/4, 8 5/8, and 11 1/2. Okay, and like I said, don't worry about writing the measurements down. I'm going to have it all there. Turn it around so your little 1/2 inch piece is at the bottom. You're going to score at 2 7/8. You're going to score at 9 1/8. Then I'm going to flip it directly over, not turning, just flip it straight over and score at 11 1/2. So flip that back. Now we flipped it right back the way we have. This is the first half line, this is another half. Okay, this is the top of our box. Okay, so this is going to be the top of the box. So we're going to rotate it back to this position so we're up and down again. And you make two little score lines. The first one is in this first quadrant here, and you're going to score just to the first line at 1 3/8. So just a little score line right there. And then you're going to score at, what did I do with the other one? 1 7/8. or 1 and 7, 7 and 1/8. Like I said, all the dimensions will be listed below. Okay, so this is the top. Okay, the next, oh, I still need the stylus. The next thing we do, we need to take and draw a line from here to this corner and from here to this corner. And I'm hoping you can see where I'm going with this. And, oh, I didn't grab my small ruler. There we go. So I'm going from that little score point to right to the edge of the paper here. Like that. And I'm going to do it a couple times just to make sure it's good. And then from this corner there to there. And then on this one, the same thing. Can you see those little, where I'm going here? I can see it in my camera, so in my monitor, so I'm hoping you can. And I went over a little bit on this one right here, but it's not going to hurt anything. And this one here. Just like that. So we have those little diagonals there. Put my stylus back so I don't lose it. Next, we're going to head and burnish all of our and then this one is the one we flipped. We're going to flip it this way. And burnish it. Like that. And then we'll come back and do this side. Now our DSP is extremely heavy. And so you can put a lot of stuff into one of these made out of DSP. If you, when we get further along, if you needed to put something in that was really heavy and you still want to use a DSP, you could put a piece of cardstock at the bottom of it to help give a little added support. But I know what's going in mine and it doesn't need added support, so I'm not doing that today. There we go. So there's all of our fold lines. Now, trimming on this is very minimal. I'm going to grab, in this corner here, we're just going to take off a little, I mean a smidgy, that much off that corner. I'm going to grab my big scissors now, and we're going to cut up at the bottom, from the bottom, straight up, that score line, and then just another little wedge, just like that. And then all these we're going to cut straight up, as straight as you can go. Just like that. So we have 4 equal parts. I'm not wedging on anything on this either. Found I really didn't need it. So I'm going to fold this over. I'm going to grab my tear and tape. And I'm going to run it close to the line there. And then I'm going to fold this directly over, and everything should line up perfectly. Just like that. I'm going to give a little fold here with my fold. So when you look at this, your back piece is this one here with the little fold here. This is your back. And this is the 2 side pieces with the diagonal right here. So that's the back. So this means this is my front. So I'll pull that forward. I know it's worth close. So I'm going to put each of these in with a little bit of glue. I'm going to fold this one in and trying to keep everybody as square as possible. saving that front piece for last. And then the last one is going to be the front. I'm going to flip it over. I've got a long ruler here. And I'm going to use this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a block. It's not my biggest block, but I'm going to grab a small block and set in the bottom of this and set it off to the side and let it dry for a few minutes while we work on the next part of the box. The next part of the box, picking up a couple things here so I don't have things all over my desk, is a little bit of stamping and then some embossing. So I have a scrap of white, and I'm going to need a mat. And I'm also needing silver embossing powder, my embossing buddy, some Versamark. I'm going to use some scratch paper here in a minute. If you have your little embossing tray, you can use it. I have one somewhere, but I can't find it. In my very messy craft room. I'm going to make sure that my paper is well coated. Make sure your fingers, so you don't have oil from your fingers getting in here. And I'm just going to tap that off. And we are going to stamp The Stars Are Brightly Shining and the two large polar bears. So I'm going to start with the first polar bear, is the one that's standing. He has the punch. I put some Versamark on him and put him down here in the corner. And then I'm going to do the other polar bear. I know you can't see where I'm stamping. I can barely see where I'm stamping. The other polar bear. And then The Stars Are Brightly Shining. I'm going to do off this direction here. And cover up my Versamark before I open the powder. And then I'm going to sprinkle with some powder. I'm just running it around here so I don't have to pour more out than I need. That looks really good. I'll set that right there for a second. So one thing with Versamark, you do need to clean up as you go before you get a heat gun out here. That's going straight into the trash. And I still have stuff all over my desk. As I said, I gotta find my tray. I think it's out in the garage, actually. We had to move a bunch of stuff out into the garage during the renovations. I think it was in one of those boxes. So, anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and heat set this. And so turn on your heat gun. We'll get a little loud for a second. Let it heat for just a moment before you get going. You can heat from the bottom, or you can heat from the top, whichever you prefer. Don't get too close. Just stay steady in one area. When it's melted, just move on to the next area. Give that one more look over, make sure I've got it all done. There he is. Don't you think everybody should have silver embossed bears? So this is the new punch. And I made sure that I was going the right direction so I could reach in here. and punch him out. Unfortunately, we don't have a punch for the other one. So once again, you can see me fussy cut. Now, I fussy cut this verse out up here. And then I was thinking, do we really need to do that? Or would it be just as good to just cut it out straight? And so we're going to try cutting it out straight with paper trimmer instead of fussy cutting. And then you can see what both look like. And I'm still trying to leave about the same borders on the one that was punched. Maybe a little more, but it's okay. And yeah, the wind's starting to blow. It's only supposed to be 82 today, and I'm very happy about that. Now, I am filming this a week before you're seeing it, so heaven knows it'll probably be warm again. There's our next bear. And this one, we're going to try cutting it out with just the paper trimmer and see what we get. I don't know what size it's going to be, but we'll find out when we get done, and I will write down the size of the white piece for you. Trying to make sure I'm at a decent measurement here. Okay. Need to come over just a little more on this one. No, I don't like that. Hang on. Okay, so we're going to end up at 2 5/8. I'm going to jot this down really quick so I make sure that it gets in 2 5/8 by 1 3/4. So I wanted you to see what the difference was, and if you want to fussy cut it, you can, but I decided I didn't want to. So that's our 2 pieces here. Now we'll get back to our box that has been sitting over here drying. What you need to do is where the little folds were, just pinch at the top here real gently. And they will automatically just fold in here and give you that nice little milk carton look. See? And then you need a paper punch. Or crocodile, whatever you happen to have. And I'm going over at about a 1/2 inch roughly from each side, just eyeballing it, and in the middle of the piece here, just punch the holes. And then for ribbon, since we're doing sparkly and sky gazing, make sure I'm still at the back. This is still my back until the seam's right there. I'm going to start here in the front. I'm going to grab my stylist. Like I said, stylists are great for popping ribbon back through holes. Anyways, this is the glittered, what is it, glittered organza ribbon, I think is what it's called. And then once you get it in, you can straighten it out. Just like that. And yes, I'm using me to hold the box in place. Come through here, little guy. Got stuck. There we go. I'll pull this around. Gotta play with the ribbon a little bit. Always do. There we go. Here's our ribbon. Now this one here, this is the difference. He mounts up here. We could cut him a little smaller if we wanted. I'm thinking we're going to cut him a little smaller. I want a little closer. I want less white space. I'm going to take off about a smidge off each piece side. There. Sometimes you just have to take it out and do a little more fussing. So he's going to go across this way. And I'm going to use dimensionals, and we're going to use dimensionals to put our bears on. Okay, so this is the front of the box, and our bear, the sitting bear, he's looking up at the stars. I'm going to flip this over here for you just a second. And this is our saying up here. And then our other bear, I put him on the side on the last box, because he's over on the corner, just looking around the corner at the other bear. So this is our box. I'm going to set it on the side here. So this is the one that's like this, and this is the one. This paper's a little bluer than that one. Maybe I didn't use the same paper. I didn't use the same paper, I don't think. That's okay. This one's cut out, so you'll have to decide which one you like cut out. I think I almost like the fussy cut version out better. And I used a little lighter paper than this one. I used the darker paper. It's out of the same paper packet. It just gives it a different look. So, anyhow, that is my milk carton boxes with the polar bears on them. You can put the polar bears all on one side, whatever you choose to do. So thank you for joining me today, and have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next week with lots more projects from new items in the catalog. Thank you.